or sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
The fairy tale is complete. The Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
Good evening and welcome to Saturday night Isuzu Ute A-League football coming from Allianz Stadium on the land of the Gadigal people. Oh, you're watching 10 Bold or Paramount Plus. We've got all your A-League action covered. Big match coming up this evening, the latest instalment of the A-League's youngest derby, the 8th running of Sydney FC versus Macarthur. And if ever there was incentive needed for this clash for the Bulls, well, they can go top of the table, because earlier this afternoon in Wellington, the Newcastle Jets did the Bulls a big favour. They knocked off the top team in the competition, opening the way for the black and white to move provisionally top of the league ahead of tomorrow's matches, and in particular Western Sydney Wanderers versus Melbourne Victory. It is some match in prospect. Sydney FC themselves are looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season, and back-to-back home wins for only the second time in over a year since the opening of the new Allianz Stadium. And perhaps that is the perfect time to bring you up to date with the history of this fixture, because no home team has ever won it, whether it be in Campbelltown, where Sydney have won 3 times, or at the home of Sydney FC, where we're playing for the 5th time. The previous 4 occasions, 3 wins for Macarthur FC and 1 draw. So can Sydney buck the trend? If they do, they will be putting their claims for a top 6 position up in lights as well. Ufuk Talay, it's his 4th game in charge since taking over from Steve Corica. He's still without Jaden Kucharski, Jack Rodwell and Max Burgess for another week or so. So it's an unchanged starting 11 from the one that emerged victorious in that lightning delayed match last time out. It's back-to-back starts for Corey Holman alongside Luke Bratton in midfield. Pat Wood also backs up tonight. He's looking for his first goal of the season, but he has 4 in this fixture. Historically, that's more than any other player. He's up alongside Fabio, Lolly and Mac in attack. Well, for Macarthur, Mile Sturjovski has made 3 changes from the side that beat Adelaide 4-3 on Monday night. Tommy Uskok returns for Matt Yeoman. Former Western Sydney Wanderer Isaac Hovar makes his Bulls debut at left back for the ill Ivan Vujica. And Jake Holman is record for the showdown with little brother Corey at the expense of Raphael. Matt Miller continues on the right wing. He has 3 in his last 3 since returning to the starting 11. And with Danny De Silva, Ali Ugla, Jed Drew and Raphael on the bench, it means there's attacking quality should Mile Sturjovski need it. And there is that Macarthur side coming into the huddle. The Jets did them a big favour earlier today, and they have a great history, at least away, in this fixture. Uli Davila also has a couple of goals in this one. The number 10, he was brought to the A-League by the new Sydney FC coach, Ufuk Talay. They were united at Wellington Phoenix, where Davila played 50 matches, scoring 19 goals and winning the Johnny Warren Medal for Player of the Season. Sydney FC's number 10, Joe Lolly, is also finding his form under Ufuk Talay, and there is the ladder. Macarthur in 3rd, can move top, a point clear of Wellington. Although Western Sydney Wanderers' superior goal difference means a win for them tomorrow, they'll almost certainly retake top spot. All set for a start. Ufuk Talay, massive match for him, his 4th in charge of Sydney FC. 2 wins and a loss so far. Started with a bang against Adelaide, came back down to earth in the derby before back to winning ways in that lightning halted match a week ago. Then Mile Sturjovski, well, he is starting to square that ledger that started with that run of poor results when he took over midway through the season from Dwight York. But he's starting to get that wins column ticking over now. Daniel Elder is our referee for this evening's clash. He's being assisted by Matthew Macarthur and Hugh Fenton-White. Sam Kelly is the fourth official. And we are underway. Saturday night football. Sydney FC looking to break their home hoodoo, not only against Macarthur FC, but in general here at Allianz, where, of course, they won the cup in pre-season. Since then, they've found the going a little tougher. It cost Steve Corica his job. And there are no easy matches in the A-League, Andy Harper. It's Macarthur FC who come to town themselves, looking to confirm a fantastic start to the season. As the corner is taken short, Bratton with Lolly on his left foot. Early sighting at goal, blocked by Kieran Backus. Andy Harper, take two.
Yeah, good evening, Robbie. Great to be here. Beautiful night. It's hot today in Sydney, but starting to cool off. And we're waiting a little bit nervously, I guess, when that southerly blows in, because last week was an epic, that storm. And the fans who stuck it out really deserve credit and were rewarded for the home fans for a good result. Macarthur as well. That match on Monday was a ripper. Fantastic win against Adelaide. And on matters sartorial, Robbie, before we really get going, how good is the Macarthur strip? Finally, from my vantage point, finally they've found it, and it looks incredible, distinctive, something none of the other clubs have got, and a very classic football strip as it turns out. But this one's set up, apart from the dress, to be a really good game between two teams who come at the right time at each other.
And probably you could say both sides doffing their hat to football traditions with their strips. A little closer to home, we have the Holmans going head-to-head there. We just saw Jake and Corey operating in very close orbit. Corey actually made his debut against Macarthur in December 2022 before missing December 2021 actually, before missing 15 months with a groin injury. But by the time he came on to make his A-League debut, Jake had already been subbed off for Macarthur. But the Holman family will certainly be watching this one. One way to look at it, they can't lose this evening. Sydney FC on the front foot, Max ball, back post, across the face of goal, and Curto somehow claims it. How did Fabio, on the ground as he was, still not manage to turn that in? Big chance for Sydney FC. And now we head straight up with the transition at the other end with the little magician, Uli Davila for Holman, into the area under pressure. From the brother tracking back, he was very careful not to make the foul.
Allowed a couple of minutes to get things going, which I think is reflective of the form in which both teams come here today. Early cider for Sydney, and just came behind Mario Gomes. Unfortunately for him, he finished the game strongly last week, and there have been a few murmurings about his post-Australia Cup final form. He looked like he was going to be a real fan favourite. Things dried up, the team struggled. Questions started to be answered. At the close of that game last week, he was quite dynamic.
Flag up for offside against Valère Germain. Let's have a look at those chances again.
It's a beautiful ball to the back stick. Gabriel Lacerda does well to keep it in play, and just slightly behind.
Still a big save by Curto.
Yeah. Mate, don't take anything away. I mean, he is one of the league's best. How many times has he saved the teams for which he's played? Firstly Wellington, then Western, and now Macarthur.
This season, more than any other goalkeeper, 27 saves. The most in the league coming in to match day 7. Lacerda, who was involved in that cutback towards his compatriot Fabio. Bratton now. Classic switch of play for Joe Lolly. Closed down quickly by the debutant. For Macarthur, Isaac Hovar. Played one game for the Western Sydney Wanderers 2 seasons ago. Isaac Hovar, the number 32 at left back. He was at Macarthur last year. He was on the bench a couple of times, but never made an A-League appearance. So The illness to Vujica means that Hovar finally gets his chance in black and white. Davila is found by Germain. Here's Miller. He's been in fantastic scoring for Miller. Onto the left foot, deflected! And Macarthur almost have the opening goal. It's been deflected beyond Redmayne, but it looks like it came off one of his own in an offside position.
Yeah, Miller cutting inside nicely. I think it was Davila might have come off him, or clearly an offside position. Celebrations immediately mooted. There's Davila, there's Valère, it is Davila. No question whatsoever. But a beautiful attack from Macarthur. Germain did beautifully on the near side, square the ball into Davila, who hit an awkward pass, bounced at a difficult height out to Miller. It was beautiful. Conversely, just before that, Tale with a rueful scratching of the chin here as young Corey Holman gets into the box and really rushed his chance. There was no need for such haste. Could have set something up really tellingly for the home team then.
Goodwood Reich on the ball. If Corey Holman made his A-League debut against Macarthur, Jake Goodwood Reich played his first 2 matches 6 weeks apart, both against the Bulls last season. Both of them off the bench. He's been an ever-present at the back this season. King with Lacerda. Grant with Joe Lolly. Accelerating, running at Holman and Hovar. Holman does well, sticking a foot in there. Grant keeps it alive, though, with Goodwood Reich. Back with Bratton. Grant again, trying it. Ball was sitting nicely there to be struck.
Yeah, made good contact. The fans appreciate the effort. Never seriously got them off their seats, but as fans do, Robbie, they value an attack that finishes with an effort on goal. And Warren Grant gave them that. It'll be something special from that range against Philip Curto, however.
They also love seeing an attacker chasing down everything, which is exactly what Pat Wood does in these situations. The number 13 for Sydney, we just see him harassing the Macarthur defenders. Davila. Miller looking to take over. Robbie Mack. Just the 1 goal for him so far. Last weekend against Perth, so he broke his duck. It was a well-taken goal as well. Fouled by Davila.
Yeah, in the end,
occasions.
Yeah, in the end, I think the challenge was clean, but there was the little bit of illegality before then. Sydney enjoying extended period in the attacking third here.
Ollie's ball in, repelled by Aspropotomides. And Hovar, again, the debutant, not taking any chances, looking for the safety of the touchline. Grant Lolly, that's nice quick feet for Holman with Gomes. Might get another chance. Cleared by Hovar, but not convincingly. Neither is that. Lolly's still there. Hovar's header away, and Bratton takes a sided goal from a long way out. And on this occasion, they don't test Philip Curto.
No, but just a really good start from Sydney. They've had one scare as Macarthur swept upfield, but otherwise Sydney have had Macarthur pressed into their own, basically their own penalty area. Have not been able to get the ball clear. Pressure only relieved really by these 2 shots from distance from a couple of the Sydney old heads, Ryan Grant initially, and on that occasion Luke Bratton.
And again, the high press from Sydney FC, and again, Pat Wood involved on Bacchus. Mind you, Macarthur won't be too worried about this. They're a side that love to absorb pressure and hit on the counter-attack. Miller putting the pressure on. That's a great ball inside with Mack. No foul by Lewis. And Bacchus, says the referee. Valère Germain under pressure. Finds the outlet. It comes again. Nicolau there on the ball, the right back. He's been ever present this season. He's arriving from Apia Leichhardt in the New South Wales MPL. And this week, Macarthur announced the signing of Sydney FC young fullback Keely Adamson. Having signed him, has to wait till the transfer window opens in January before he can place on the boots in sky blue. A player that played all the way through the cup run, as did Corey Holman. Well, the Holman family not only enjoying this match this evening, but also the Australia Cup. His older brother Jake, 22 years of age, a cup winner last season with Macarthur, their first ever piece of silverware. Corey, he got his hands on the trophy this year.
As well as getting his hands on his brother then. But, I mean, that was legal in the backyard. Ref, what are you talking about? How do you think we got where we got? Well, you can see Mum and Dad opening the kitchen window. Oh, get your hands off him. Play fairly. Where do you think that's going to get you in life?
There's a great interview on 10 News this week with the Holman brothers where they spoke about that. There's also the little sister Shay, who's ever present in the Sydney FC women's squad as well. As Lewis, ball to the back post beyond everyone and out. Let's head down to Tristan McManus, who's joining us on the sidelines this evening. Tristan.
Hello, gents. Yeah, look, it's been roasting hot. I don't have to tell you. Today it's cooled down a wee bit. We're expecting a southerly to come in now in the next 2 or 3 minutes as well. That's going to have a huge impact. That's obviously going to be sticking behind the Bulls in what way they're attacking. At the minute, the only heat we're feeling is from Sydney as they attack.
It has been a very positive start. Aspro Potomides with a good forceful pass out wide towards Jake Holman. Must have been just onside as Sydney were pressing out, trying to play that high line. Cove, as they were last week for 3.5 hours, making plenty of noise. Nicolau with Miller. He's been fantastic since returning to the starting 11. How about the pass from Lewis? Redmayne's come out into no man's land. He makes the first save, might have to make another, and does so. Unorthodox, as is his want.
Mate, that was nearly suicidal from Andy Redmayne. He was way out. What a chance for Macarthur there. Plenty of cries for an intentional handball. It's a beautiful pass through. It's a great touch from Miller. One more around Redmayne, and he hits it into an empty net. Matt Miller maybe a little bit spooked by the high-vis pink that ran into his peripheral vision. And they're checking this handball quickly. Yeah. Redmayne's adamant it came off his chest.
It certainly looked that way. Ooh, maybe not. That looks very much like the arm.
Well,
and that will be. Well, Valère Germain's just seen it. The referee has just said, OK, I'll go and have a closer look at this because this could be red.
Well, before people get too excited, it's still got to be determined whether this arm is outside the silhouette. His arm looks... Don't roll your eyes at me, Robbie Thompson. Because that's what you do to me. You know...
You can't come out. A goalkeeper comes out with his arms to make saves with his arm. He's outside the box.
No, then you
can't do it.
Okay.
That could almost be goal bound.
That's not quite the point I'm making, Rob.
You're saying he can't cut off his arm?
I'm saying if that was in the penalty area and a defender, do they get pinged for their arm being outside the silhouette? Or is this version 38 subclause 3 of the handball rule?
Well, if that was a player outside, would it be a handball?
Well, that's a conjecture. I'm not saying yes or no, but all I said was rewind it.
And this is going to be trouble, I think. Andy Elder agrees with me, Andy Harper. a red card for Andrew Redmayne. Just 15 minutes in to this match, and that is a massive blow for the home side. Andrew Redmayne saying it came off his chest. And this is going to be two big decisions. Well, one is made for them. They need to bring on the youngster Adam Pavlicic, 21 years of age, for his A-League debut, the reserve goalkeeper for Sydney FC. The second decision they have to make is who comes off. And will it be a young forward like Pat Wood? Will it be a wider player? It's generally, in these situations, an attacking player that is sacrificed for the reserve goalkeeper, Andrew Redmayne. Very disappointing for him. He has a word to his coach.
Intentional handball. I mean, we haven't quite removed the word intent from the rules, I don't think. It's a hugely contentious issue. What is beyond dispute is that Redmayne cut himself away from the anchor and was in no man's land completely. Now from there, people can make their own mind up. The match officials, most importantly, have decided their course of action.
And it is Patrick Wood who is sacrificed here. So 15th minute red card, 17th minute Patrick Wood, who won't add to his fixture high 4 goals against Macarthur. No other player has more, but it's he that makes way. Ufuk Talay with the big decision. Now the Pavlicic goalkeeping family is one of huge potential, and we'll get our first look at Adam Pavlicic here. Younger brother Anthony plays for Bayern Munich in the youth ranks there, where he left the Central Coast Mariners at the end of last season. Now free kick to follow immediately here for Macarthur, with Clayton Lewis, the New Zealand midfielder, standing over it. He's got great delivery. He goes straight for goal, and Pavlicic saves. Holman hooks it back in, and Pavlicic claims it at the second attempt, to the delight of the Cove right behind his goal.
And the Cove just cheer as though they've won the championship. There's a good hit from Clayton Lewis off the set piece, and smart to test the keeper before he gets a chance to settle into the game at all.
Pavlicic again, big occasion for the young man at Allianz Stadium. I wonder what this changes for Ufuk Talay's game plan, as well as the structure and personnel. It's still 2 in midfield, 2 sixers, still with Lolly and Mack wide, as he goes Mack through the middle with Gumish, the single striker now. Orphaned of Pat Wood, but Lolly's done well. Lolly gets down and crosses, back post. The header is not the best, but Mack can't control. Nicolau gets it clear.
Well, it's a long way for City to be down this extra man. The cool change can't come quickly enough. Still warm, cooled off slightly. Very impressive heat in Sydney today, but it's certainly the edge has been taken off. And then, as Tristan reports, we are awaiting, and Sydney will be now, for that southerly to come through, given that they've got across the field players to make up an extra 10% of energy each to cover for that missing player.
Max ball all the way through, beyond any runner at the back post, and the first little pealing of a cowbell into the Allianz Stadium evening air. How many times we've seen it? 10 hold 11, 10 lift, 10 players play out of their skin. The sense of injustice, the sense of camaraderie as Bacchus. Lewis fouled by Bratton. Can Macarthur use the extra player to their advantage? Can they stretch Sydney? Strong from Bratton through the back of Lewis, looking for Lolly. Hovar does well, deflected pass, lands with Davila. And Bratton's got it back again, quickly releases with Lolly. Hovar diving into the challenge and fouling.
Well, it's a really keen contest. It's so sharp. The players are really hungry, and Sydney do seem to have lifted since that send-off a few minutes ago from a very dominant start as well. But Macarthur, they're in good nick at the moment, the Bulls.
They have that incredible ability to take the few chances that come their way, Macarthur, in matches, and also not concede when they are under pressure. They've conceded the second most number of shots at their own goal of any team in the competition this season. 111 shots at their own goal. But they've conceded just 9 of those 111. By my maths, that means it takes 12 opposition shots before they concede a goal on average. Sydney FC are at the other end of that scale. They've been conceding 1 in 5. And it's a similar story at the other end. So here goes Lolly. He's taken more shots than any other player. Joe Lolly for his 3 goals and 2 assists. Matt Miller for his 3 goals. He's taken 4 shots. 5 now, if you can see that one. Blocked by Redmayne. Ball to the back post. Ryan Grant was ghosting in at the back but couldn't control his header. It's one of those trademark runs from Miller. Coming inside from the right flank through the middle. Lewis found him. Now Aspro Potomides with Holman. Little 1-2 with Hovar. Holman's done well. Claims there was a hand there against Ryan Grant. Referee lets play go. Bratton back with Grant again. Holman just took his eyes off the ball for a moment to check who was coming behind him. This time the free kick goes Sydney's way.
Yeah, good turn of pace from Jake Holman to get half a bit of space on Ryan Grant, who then did very, very well to turn that situation around. Slide in, dispossess and keep the ball in. Jake Holman is taking up great width on the near touchline here. Matt Miller down the right-hand side. And we haven't seen a lot of Jake Holman in his time playing ostensibly as a winger. He's doing a good job.
The first 2 matches of the season, he was one of that midfield 3 with Uli Davila sidelined with injury, but Davila's return pushed him to the bench. This evening he gets the nod in this high left wing position, which has generally been reserved for Raphael this season, but Jed Drew is another who we've seen a lot of. Different profiles. Raphael and Jed Drew are both really those flyer counter-attacking players. Jake Holman much more the technical attacking midfielder. A mould, I guess, without suggesting that there's any more than just one Uli Davila in Australian football. Corey Holman trying to jink his way through, closed down by the brother. Here he is again with Lolly. Back with Grant. Early cross, too high for Gomes. Nicolau was unable to control, but look out, Miller winding up. Excellent defending from Joel King. Again, even with 10, the high press from Sydney FC. Luke Bratton leading the charge. But it's hard enough trying to maintain a high press like that through 90 minutes when you have your full quota. Lolly for Gomes, it's a good ball. He shoots and almost scores rather for Sydney. The Brazilian and Philip Curto with another great save.
Well, the luck's just not going with Gomes at the moment, as he's played onside. Beautiful ball through on the Harvey Norman replay from Joe Lolly, and very fortunate Curto. It's underneath him. Actually, it's a lucky save rather than a great save, because we know the difference with Curto. He can put off a special save, but that one nearly crept underneath him.
For a second time, he's denied Gomes this evening. The ball in. Germain with the defensive header at the near post. Bratton with Grant again. Now Lolly. His cross towards Gomes again. Uzcock and Aspro-Potamides. And finally, Nicolaou managed to get it clear, only as far as Robbie Mack. Sydney FC. You wouldn't know they were a player down. Playing the match in Macarthur's final third. Controlling the ball, controlling possession. Lolly. There's plenty of pace on that one. Goodwood Reich had stayed forward as well. Bacchus. He knows what it's like to play against the brother. Younger brother Kieran. He's a Socceroo these days. That's well defended. Early ball over the top is fantastic for Germain. He's racing away. Goodwood Reich and Lacerda both get back. Germain switches it for Holman. Holman shoots and Holman scores! First blood to the older brother. His third goal this season, Jake Holman. And Macarthur, as they do so often, the quick transition, opening up the opposition and finding the finish.
A lot of space in midfield on the Harvey Norman replay. It's a beaut ball over the top and a really impressive initial burst of speed from the Frenchman, Valère Germain. And then the composure to set up Holman. It's a really, really good finish from Jake Holman. I love the way he runs through the ball. He kills the speed on the ball and then has the technique off that bouncing ball to place it past Pavlicic to give the Bulls the lead. It's a terrific and scything counter-attack, the architect of which in the end was the Frenchman. But the finish was from the Sydney sider, playing for Macarthur. Jake Holman, it's a beauty.
Well, he came through the youth ranks at Sydney FC before jumping at the opportunity offered by Macarthur. The younger brother and sister are both still sky blue. The family are traditionally sky blue. But for this evening, at least for the moment, they are black and white. And he's enjoying a fantastic scoring season. Jake Holman, he's really taken that next step up in terms of his goal scoring. It's his third A-League goal. He's got 2 more in the AFC Cup this season as well, where Macarthur need a win away to dynamic Herb Cebu on Thursday night to assure themselves of top spot in the section and progression to the knockout phases of that competition. So here goes Miller looking for Germain as well. Again, Pavlicic claims this one.
Well, just to continue the discussion on Jake Holman, he's had a lot of promise as a youngster. And probably because he grew up in the era, he loves playing in this ground. Because sorry, mate, because it was a Christmas round type game, Macarthur v Sydney. Dwight York was the coach. So on that parameter, it's about this time last year. And he played as a 6, and he did a magnificent job. He really, really established himself in that game. And here we are now with him playing on the wing and scoring the goal that gives his team the lead. Great versatility. Terrific reward for the youngster.
Yellow card, Uli Davila. Macarthur skipper. On the half hour. Macarthur have opened the scoring for the 6th time in 7 matches this season, more than any other side. Miller, back with Germain. That's a loose pass. Easily picked off by Luke Bratton, who's waiting for options, but there are already some blue shirts sucking in the big breaths as Miller running at Girdwood Reich. Uzcock and Gomes, that's a physical battle between those two, and Uzcock desperately trying to get something on the ball. Nicolau back with Lewis. Uzcock again, and has that goal just stunned Sydney FC a little bit. It's knocked a bit of the wind out of their sails. The ball for Davila. With Miller, one way then the other. Here comes Nicolau. 3 in the middle. Running at King. Here's Miller. Nicolau again. Lewis had a look on that left boot to try and whip the ball in. Thought better of it. Bacchus, as they switch it from one side to the other with the goal scorer, Holman. Stays on his feet just. Again. You can see with movement, when you do use the extra player advantage effectively, it works. Again. Cross in towards Davila, the glancing header. Holman's there again. Brilliant stop from Pavlicic. Now Davila, a foul by Holman. Means some respite for Sydney FC, but Pavlicic was a fantastic save that time.
Well, it most certainly was. A wickedly dangerous ball into the box. Davila ends up helping it on its way to Jake Holman, who's got his eyes full of a second goal. It's an outstanding save from Pavlicic. Well called, Robbie. There's the foul from Holman. His brother again, no love lost there. It's emerging as quite the story. The stink between these two. But he's got the rights at the moment. The goal, and then very close to a second. Macarthur looking very good. And the big test for Sydney, you know, the way Ufuk Talay has his teams playing generally, and the way he looks like he's wanting this team to play, is going to ask a lot of the boys physically 11 v 11. And that to me is a big test, whether 11 v 11 Sydney can go at that speed. Big test for any team. But particularly with this in a transition to a new coach. Now, with that player down, if that continues to be their mentality, how long can Sydney last? You've already suspected a couple of signs, 1 or 2 gassing.
It's Bratton's free kick to the back post towards Lacerda. Hova thumping the ball long, now racing back to his left back position. Sydney back on the front foot here. Muscock cross doing the defending on Joe Lolly. Ball still in play. Now the throw goes Sydney's way. Oh, great finish. That bouncing ball. See what it meant to the Macarthur bench there. Now it's out for a corner, and Sydney just starting to come back into the contest a little bit. King with Bratton. In it comes. Now, appeals for a handball in there as Nicolau and Miller, the two right-sided players, were caught in possession almost in the box. And the referee just saying, hold on a moment. Nothing going. Gentlemen, as you were. Gomes does well. Strong challenge from Bacchus. Bratton not giving Davila a second on the ball. Aspro Potomides does well, and Hova. Still, there is no respite. The intensity of this contest is ferocious. Grant charging forward now. And Sydney, if they did just have a little rocky moment in the minutes following that goal, are certainly back on their feet, back taking this game to Macarthur. 6 shots apiece, 3 on target apiece. And the XG, well, that's in Sydney FC's favour. 0.76 against 0.33. Davila. Oh, Bacchus and Holman were almost in each other's way there, making that run, and they both thought the other would go for it. Lacerda with Goldenreich. Good with Reich, rather. Muscock. With Bacchus again. You see Sydney again stepping up, again closing down the space. Their midfielders are working very, very hard, trying to cover all areas. Bratton running around, calling for help. The cross in towards Germain, the header. And the flag stayed down. That was a gilt-edged opportunity for Valère Germain.
Jeez, Robbie, I think it's better than that. It's a great chance for the Frenchman. Joe Lolly down, needing attention. It's a lovely ball. There would have been a hint of offside on this one, perhaps, but he's miscued the header anyway to remove any doubt. Beautiful from Matt Miller. And Macarthur's set up for this game with 2 wingers maintaining maximum width, and both fullbacks doing the same thing, making for a lot of space at Sydney, minus that extra player to plug 1 or 2 of those gaps.
Now, is change of footwear an injury for a stoppage in play? Corey Holman is now getting the right hamstring strapped up. As here we see that goal again, the goal that separates the two sides from Jake Holman. It is a stylish finish. He's also been flying into the tackles, winning the duels. Going ahead for the 6th time, as I mentioned. They've won 3 of the previous 5, drawn 2. Sydney FC, when conceding the opening goal this season, it's happened 4 times. They lost all 4 without scoring a goal. Bratton over the top for Mack. Nicolau does well, and Bacchus is there to take over. Good ball inside with Lewis. Davila. They've won it back, Sydney. Gomes on the charge. He's shaped to shoot and then didn't fancy it. Perhaps that would have been his best option. Again, the pressure coming. Great work from Corey Holman. Working overtime. When one goes, someone comes in. See Joe Lolly covering in central midfield as the youngster went charging forward. If they're going to get something from this game, Sydney FC, they are going to earn it. Make no mistake. It's energy sappingly hot all day today. It is starting to cool down. That will work in their favour, perhaps. Bratton twisting to get away from Bacchus. He stayed down after that challenge. Oh, Joe Lolly's got the better of Hovar. Lolly still on the left foot. Aspro Potamides did brilliantly to stick with the challenge. And then a little word of encouragement for Hovar, who was beaten there by Lolly.
Oh, good chance. Good chance for Sydney. Joe Lolly just couldn't quite get that extra little fraction of an opening. Of leaving this one short to Jonathan Aspro Potamides. Lolly does well, angles nicely, just can't get that extra little bit of turf. And then the ball bouncing off Nicolau before the stoppage.
There you see how hard Sydney FC are working and their dominance as well. Possession is very even, essentially 50-50. That's a good ball from Hovar into the feet of Germain. Holman back for the Frenchman. His little touch. Davila wasn't there though. A little bit of fortune perhaps, but Robbie Mack runs onto the ball, now finds his partner in crime on the opposite wing, Joe Lolly. Lacerda over the top, but can't keep making these runs repetitively. Bratton still doing a fantastic job of pressing in midfield. Good Woodreich's header. Sydney FC have to try and stay in touch as long as possible. There's just over a minute left in the first half. You can see Macarthur winning absolutely everything in the air. Challenge from Germain on Lacerda. Oh, there's a high boot there from Clayton Lewis. And he's probably fortunate he didn't make any contact. Elder comes and tells him just to keep things under control. Nicolau can't get there. You can see the Sydney bench appealing for everything. They know one way back into this contest would be a red card or a couple of yellows the other way. Even up the numbers. stay in contact. There's plenty of time still to come in this first half. 5 minutes of stoppages. Gomes. That's the thumbs up from Ryan Grant, but there was no way through again. Bratton. It's a great ball for Joe Lolly. Beat Holman. Lolly's cross. Right into the right areas. Driven back in. Curto again with the save. Denying Joel King.
Beautiful ball from Bratton. Dangerous cross from Lolly. Nicely met by Joel King, going wide anyway. As it turns out, Gomes just can't get into those first point of contact moments as the ball comes into the penalty area. Not frequently enough.
Goodwood Reich trying to get away from Matt Miller. He may not have scored, but he's certainly played a very important role in the events of this first 45 minutes here. Lewis's pass for Germain was overhead. Stojovski will be happy enough with what he's seen in this opening 45 minutes. Probably so too would Ufuk-Talay with his side's performance after going down to 10.
Yeah, generally, Sydney have done very well. Macarthur look dangerous though. They've got a bit of swagger about them at the moment. They're defending their 6-yard box and the surrounds really positively. Makes them incredibly difficult to break down ultimately, but then with some space in which to play, clever footballers linking nicely, look very dangerous going forward. Talay with his work cut out, but the team's responding. Just got that extra difficulty with the assignment tonight.
There's a speculator from Gomes. Macarthur have sent Rafael Borges to start warming up on the sideline. There is Mile Stojovski with his assistant coach, Christophe Gamel. Lewis. Can't keep it in play. Wrestled to the ground by Luke Bratton. Loves the physical challenge. Luke Bratton. It's a little throw-in move, normally reserved for the training ground. One for Nicolau. Head out of play, and again it's Sydney trying to make the running, trying to get back on level terms before half-time. Bratton, first time ball, is another brilliant pass for Lolly down this right-hand side. He gets there, hooks it back in. Gomes just losing his footing that time. Ovar does well, but there's nobody outright to support Nicolau, who has to come back with Curto. That was just given away very cheaply. They had no need to. Sydney FC, Corey Holman again just goes without it. One for Germain to chase with Lacera. Brazilian has kept it in, but the throw has gone Macarthur's way. We're into the last 45 seconds of the first half. Is there a sting in the tail of this one for Macarthur? They've already dealt two very, very heavy blows to Sydney FC in this one. The sending off of Andrew Redmayne, and then the opening goal from Jake Holman. It has the deck stacked very much in Macarthur's favour as we reach the halfway point here. Is there time for anything more? Not there. Last touch of the football for Adam Pavlicic, who will be relishing his first taste of A-League football, but probably would have preferred it under different circumstances. The half-time whistle blows. The fans at Allianz must be impressed by the way their side has fought, given the circumstances. Jake Holman's goal is the difference between the two sides. The other big talking point came after a quarter hour when Andrew Redmayne was sent off for handling outside his penalty area. That meant Sydney FC reduced to 10. The opening goal followed 13 minutes later, and at half-time at Allianz Stadium, it's the home side, Sydney FC, trailing Macarthur by a goal to nil.
Let's kick off the half-time break. You're welcome our Macarthur's half-time heroes, the Queens and the Rays, and Macarthur welcome.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu Ute, awarded to the best player of the season as nominated by the Paramount ANZ football team. The winner of the prestigious award will receive $10,000. Plus, the Isuzu Ute Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club of choice to win a brand new, top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX to be announced during the grand final. To stay in touch with the leaderboard, tune in for weekly updates at your home of football.
Alright guys, check out the big screen and quickly scan this QR code because it's time to get more zeros in your life. Australian owned and Allianz Stadium's official lottery partner. The lottery office is offering everyone here tonight their first international lottery ticket for free. That's right, for free. If you grab your ticket today, legals over 18 only. Get responsible. Let's give our halftime heroes a big round of applause and well done to everyone. And a big thank you again to Maccas who continue to support the game we love at every level and give tomorrow's stars the chance to play out on the pitch in front of the best supporters in the league. Thank you, Maccas. The global phenomenon Gladiators is back. Australia's toughest competitors taking on our Gladiator champions. It's epic family fun. Gladiators premieres January 8th on 10 and 10 Play.
Well, it's been a tough evening so far for the Cove, but they've been in fine voice, cheering their side on. They looked for long periods of that first half after the red card to Andrew Redmayne as well, that they might have an opportunity to get back into the contest. A couple of fine saves from Philip Curto, who is the goalkeeper who's made more saves than any other keeper this season. And he has had to be alert and on his toes so far in this one as well. Now two sides making their way back out onto the field of play. It looks like we're going to have a full quota. The same 11 that started the first half for Macarthur. They are in the box seat, Macarthur, at the break, and we do have one substitution to bring you at half-time from the Sky Blues, the home side, and it's the end of Holman versus Holman. That one has been adjudged in favour of older brother Jake, who got the opening goal. Corey has made way for Anthony Caceres, who missed last weekend with an ankle injury. He started on the bench this evening, but the vastly experienced Sydney FC midfielder is back alongside Bratton, and he has a big shift coming up in the middle of the park if Sydney FC are going to get something from this contest. No changes for Macarthur. And I have to just correct myself from that first half. Adam Pavlicic knows a thing or two about playing in derbies. His one and only previous A-League appearance was in the other Sydney derby against Western Sydney 2 seasons ago. His one and only appearance in the A-League previous to this evening ended in a 3-2 win. Will this second A-League appearance and a second derby for him end similarly? Andy Harper, it will take something very, very special if we're to see Sydney FC pull this one out of the bag.
Yeah, well, they played well enough. They played enough good stuff in that first half for fans to believe they can do something. It is going to be very difficult. Macarthur look really sharp. They're very well organised. The players are all in sync with, you know, their direction and what they're doing. But Sydney is certainly in the contest, there's no doubt. Another one for Macarthur would make it pretty sticky, though.
Fabio getting the better of Nicolau. Now Mack. No way through. Caceres won't get there. Holman does. Ball almost gets away from him. Bratton continuing to throw himself into challenges. Girdwood Reich and Bacchus can't control that ball forward. He was looking to get it immediately forward. Well, of course, the big news as it stands is that Macarthur are provisionally top of the table. As it stands, as we see the ladder, the live ladder, there they are. Western Sydney take on Melbourne Victory. The other two undefeated sides still in the competition because Wellington lost that mantle earlier today. They take each other on. A victory for Western Sydney, well, in all likelihood, unless Macarthur score 7 goals in the second half. We'll see Western Sydney move back top if they do get over Melbourne Victory, but that is anything but said and done beforehand. Sydney FC, though, haven't said their final word here. Lolly. Girdwood Reich charging forward for Lolly. Now Caceres into those dangerous areas he gets into. There's a bit of grabbing going on there. Lolly again down to the byline. Still the ball bouncing around. Cleared by Holman.
That attack set up by a beautifully powerful, penetrative run from Girdwood Reich. Sydney's other players then. Caceres, the supporting run for Lolly. Got a taste for some action.
Here's Mack on the front foot. Was looking for Fabio. Back with Bratton. Passes Grant for Lolly. Grant overlapping run. Lolly back onto that left foot. Can he find something? It's a great ball for Caceres again. And Aspro Potamides defends very, very well. Upright not diving in.
Yeah, good defending, and twice inside a minute, really. He's been all over Caceres like a bad suit.
Bratton back. Caceres. Bratton. Cross comes in into the dangerous area, but again, it's all Macarthur back there. And can they break here? Bacchus puts Bratton down. Runs it wide, very wide. They lose their forward momentum. Bratton still wants more from his teammates, calling them all over the park to stay positive. Lewis finds Germain, who'd peeled off into space on the left-hand side. Valère Germain now hits it straight at Pavlicic. Sydney now gone 7 games this season without a clean sheet. The cup winners. One thing they can look to for encouragement is that Macarthur only have 1 clean sheet themselves. Both sides can concede goals. Macarthur have been doing an awful lot of travelling. As we heard in the AFC Cup, their home match against Shan United was moved to Bangkok at the last minute. Coleman this time in those wide positions. They're really trying to stretch Sydney FC. Not playing in tight little areas, trying to switch the ball. There's one in behind for Miller. He's strong and fast, Miller. Goodwood Reich holds him up, but for how long? He does well, Goodwood Reich, corner.
I love the prospect of Matt Miller playing centre forward. He's doing a great job out wide and can play fullback as well. But that running power, gets his runs right like he did then, in behind defenders. And the service out of midfield from Macarthur has been as good as we've seen in the league. And look at the handful he is there. Just the frame to knock Goodwood Reich out of the way, and then a little bit of a twist.
He's got a bit of the Brandon Borellos about him.
Yeah, that's a good pickup.
Bustling forward role.
Yeah, really good pickup. There's good defending in the end from Jake Goodwood Reich.
Corner now for Macarthur. Almost. Referee says there's a bit too much buffering going on. Tommy Uscock and Gabriel Lacerda. Miller looking to get involved. Lacerda not happy. Uscock's heading back for round 2 as well. Now, everyone trying to get in under Lacerda's skin. He doesn't speak much English. Lacerda.
But I think he understands the finger. It's pretty universal.
Good refereeing there. Well, let's have a closer look here at the wrestling. There's a bit of a swinging arm from Uscock. Lacerda only having words, nothing more. Now we'll have the corner again. There's still plenty of movement in the box. Holman delivers. Pavlicic punches. The header away by Caceres. Back with Aspropotamides. Throw goes Macarthur's way. Where Macarthur can hurt Sydney. Move the ball from one side of the field to the other. Move it around, but Sydney are fighting very hard for everything. There's a real scrap about their attitude. They don't want to give anything away. Clayton Lewis is getting involved in everything as well. The referee wants to have a word. Yellow card. Clayton Lewis, so he joins Uli Davila in the book for Macarthur. Macarthur are the side that have committed the second fewest fouls this season. That is now their 16th yellow card. Way more than any other side in the competition. Sydney have just 6 yellow cards and have committed nearly twice as many fouls.
Well,
what does that tell us, Andy? That Macarthur know what they're doing?
Yeah, well, they save it for the big occasion. A little bit of a forearm to the chops. Sydney players asking for more than a yellow card.
Sydney back on the front foot, the cross driven in well, but too close to Curto.
It's there or thereabouts, but not quite pinpoint. But still, it's good pressure Sydney are putting on. Macarthur showing no signs of buckling, however. They're in a great state of mind at the moment, the Bulls.
I think the Cove should be very proud of what they've seen so far from their side. Fighting for everything, really taking the game to Macarthur, and it's true, Macarthur are in the box seat. Pole position at the moment as there's a foul through the back by Joel King of Miller. Talley's not happy.
But still, season and a bit into the Sydney FC experience at the refurbed Allianz Stadium, it's yet to yield an atmosphere on pitch where visiting teams are struggling to play their football. Sydney not... the win record so far since they've returned here has not been great. They've got a bit of a job to do to turn this one over as well.
Not down from Joel King is good for Pavlicic. King again. Brandt with Caceres. Stojovski said in the pre-game show that he was a big fan of Anthony Caceres as well. As here's Lolly, deflected. And another little reminder for Macarthur that anything can still happen in this contest. A deflected goal, a mistake at the back. They're not out of the woods yet.
But this is very alert defending. This is Zakova here. Everyone's aware Joe Lolly cutting in on that left, and they got the second defender across really nicely.
Header away by Aspro Potamides. King with Grant. Now Bratton. Goodwood right, Lacerda and Fabio have all stayed forward. Lovely control, Lolly, the cross, Gomez. Fabio Gomez was at the back post. And again, he just hasn't been able to get on the end of anything, the giant Brazilian striker. Grant too strong for Germain.
If you realise Stojovski, as much as the team is looking really strong and coordinated, players are nicely spaced, they're winning everything in their 6-yard box, he still wouldn't be that comfortable with the amount of possession Sydney are getting. It's only going to take one tweak, one turn. Coming in from the blind side of Joe Lolly.
Referee took a long, hard look at it.
It was an honest attempt to win the ball. He's done well tonight. He looks good. Doesn't make Joe Lolly feel any more comfortable, I'm sure.
Free kick for Sydney. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Robbie Mack standing over this set piece. Taken short with Bratton. Now Lolly. They've created a little bit of space here. The cross in. Fabio gets on the end of this one. Now, can he produce something? He does so. The cutback. Oh, and the opportunity for Gabriel Lacerda. And that's the best chance they've had. And Probably unfortunately for Sydney, it fell to the big central defender.
It was set up by the big central striker. They're making a real nuisance of himself. This is the value if he can just get in that space. That's really clever. In the end, that's just come upon Lacerda, evidently too quickly. He couldn't control the effort. It's a great chance. Sydney have had a couple. Think back to that Gomez effort in the first half from point blank that Philip Curto saved. Also another shot from the big striker, which Curto saw away. Sydney have had their share of chances.
10 shots to 8 in Sydney's favour. Nicolau with the throw. Bacchus's touch. Miller. And now that extra player as Grant went flying in. Here's Holman. Holman drives into the middle looking for Davila. Bacchus almost got in the way. Germain wants an overlapping run. Valère Germain trying to dink the ball in. Again appeals for a handball off Joel King. Bratton finds an outlet. In Robbie Mack. Joel King looks long but just gives it straight back to Clayton Lewis. Aspro Potomides with Hovar. That's a good ball in behind. Miller gets there. Brilliant stop, Pavlicic. Well, it looked for a moment he was out of position, Pavlicic, but he came charging out. Brilliant stop, and again it's Miller that's causing the danger for Macarthur.
Yeah, it's the same movement. It's exactly the same movement. And he's potentially lethal, Matt Miller, from there. And he takes the early option, which I thought was the right one. But Pavlicic outstanding.
It's a second big save from Pavlicic since Macarthur have gone ahead. 2 big saves that are keeping him in the contest. We know that Macarthur are happy to operate with few scoring chances. They're happy to absorb pressure. We also know that Sydney FC have struggled chasing games this season. When conceding the opening goal, they've lost the previous 4 without even scoring. And that, unfortunately, is how it looks, despite the XG nearly twice as much in Sydney's favour over Macarthur. 1.24 to 0.68. Mack able to turn. Here's Lolly. Fabio in the middle. Lolly still going back with Mack. A little bit of space. The shot blocked by Aspro Potomides. And that is what Macarthur also do very well. No way through for Holman. Sydney come again. The Sky Blues are lifting, as they did in the first half. Lolly, it's a great ball, inviting Joel King forward. Fabio being very closely watched by Tommy Uzcock on his return to the starting 11. There'll be another throw for Sydney. Caceres. Sydney FC just haven't been able to string together back-to-back wins here. Clever little pass again from Lolly to Mack. Now Lolly again hits it, blocked. Holman's touch, but it's too far away from Davila. Goodwood right there quickly. And it's Sydney who are really applying the pressure now. It's a great ball for Lolly, the little chip. And it's in! Offside. Robbie Mack it was, with the pirouette and the finish. We'll have to have another look at that one.
Well, it was a quite brilliant effort from Robbie Mack in the end, irrespective of whether it stands as a goal or not. I'd suggest it's offside. But how he does it from here, that's really, really clever. They're just beaten by a slightly early run. encouragement for Sydney.
Oh, so close. Robbie Mack to his second in as many weeks. Another great ball over the top. You mentioned it earlier, Marks, that Mile Sturjovski wouldn't be happy with the amount of ball that Sydney are having. That's another perfect example of it there.
Yeah, look, exactly. It's not as though they're asking for it. Sydney are just doing it very, very well. And Macarthur still looked dangerous on the counter. But with the extra player, Mile Sturjovski would want them to be holding the ball a little bit longer. They're caught in danger otherwise.
Lacera with Grant. Another free kick. A yellow card on Bull's debut for Hovar. Yellow cards keep coming. Macarthur. Now the substitutions do as well. And it's a couple of counter-attacking flyers who are coming on. This will only reinforce that plan. There's even more pace. It's Matt Miller, the first number up. In fact, is that a change? There's Matt Miller, who's being invited to leave the field by Robbie Mack. Matt Miller's still not convinced that it's him. And Uli Davila, who's giving Valère Germain the captain's armband and now making his way off. So the response to the substitutions at half-time from Infantale comes now from Mile Sturjovski. And it's Davila and Miller. Now those two have provided, in that order, a goal a game for the last 3 games. Davila passing to Miller, Miller scoring. Now both of them have gone off, and Jedru and Raphael have come on. Mack, back with Lolly. Fabio, turning, clever little pass, but Aspro Potomides steps out. Jake Holman, closed down very quickly again by Bratton, who's done well. Caceres hits it! And it flashes just wide of the post. Sydney won a corner, claiming Curto got the touch.
That's clever from Bratton. Impressively desperate as well. And a good effort from Caceres. I think the claim for a corner is more in hope than real belief. It's a big call, Mile Sturjovski. Now, we don't know the fitness status of Uli Davila nor Matt Miller, but if I'm the Sydney defenders, I'm happy to have seen the back of Matt Miller, actually. Germain is a very, very clever player, but he's not likely to be as dangerous in behind. Although, in fairness to him, he got in behind for the setting up of the goal for Jake Holman. But Miller's a different prospect altogether. Let's see how Raphael goes if he gets a little bit of green turf to attack.
No way through for Jake Holman, who was looking to get rid of it early and then looking to do it all on his own. Grant outside with Lolly. Sydney come again, wave after wave at the moment. Got past the first man, Hovar, but not the second. That's Pro Potomides. Has been immense at the back this evening. And Macarthur, number 5. Lacera with Bratton. Well, the noise the Curve are making as Allianz watches as their side fight valiantly for a way back into this contest. If they do get a goal, the noise will be quite something.
Yeah, they've got the rumble going. It's pretty impressive, actually.
There's a little bit more going on here. This one is starting to develop all the spite of a good derby rivalry.
Just need a few fans in black and white in the stadium because they've got a team to back, that's no question.
The ball penned down behind the goal. Macarthur are attacking, does have a small group of vocal and energetic fans there trying to make themselves heard. The free kick from Mac, back post, too close to Curto. That's a wasted opportunity. Joe Lolly's done brilliantly there, not winning it back himself, forcing the pressure, and it's Lacerda who's charged forward here. Mac again closed down by Hovar, and now this is where the danger is, with the fresh legs of Jed Drew. He's such a powerful runner. He looks up, crosses early towards Jamal, who was outnumbered and covered in the box. Back with Pavlicic. Edward Wright topping up high on the left-hand side now. Saw Lacerda just before operating as a second striker at times, trying to stay forward. Here's again the Brazilian, Gabriel, on the back of the shirt. There's the number 15 for his dad's birthday. Oof. Pavlicic was very close to just offering another gift to Jake Holman. There's Khan. Well, the word out of Sydney camp has been that training has been pretty tough under a Fuktale. It's preparing them for moments like this, where they have to dig deep. Lolly, Girdwood Reich, and Caceres. Fabio. At times, it quite literally looks like Sydney are now playing just two at the back. Girdwood Reich has moved into midfield. Here he is, in a position more accustomed to the number 8 he wears on his back. It's where he debuted last season in midfield, in this holding role. There is nobody back, just Lacerda. Grant coming to help out. Look at the numbers here. If they spring the offside trap, which they might well have done. Jed Drew receives from Germain. It's not the easiest pass. Germain wants it back at the back post. Drew to curl it wide of the mark. And if they don't kill this game off, they will look to opportunities like that where they really should have.
Yeah, I just look, Lacerda's in no man's land there. I mean, Sydney pushing forward with numbers, that's fine. You lose the ball, you've got to make some quick adjustments and think quickly. And Lacerda didn't. I don't think Jed Drew actually was totally on his game either. It's a great chance for Macarthur.
Holman goes down too easily, according to the referee. Fabio. Well, Bacchus has to be very careful here. He gets a yellow. Joins Hovar, Lewis and Davila in the book. Another foul, another yellow. History repeating itself.
There's a few on the tripwire at the moment. And Sydney might get it back to 10v10. I mean, it's pretty needless from Bacchus. No malice in it, it's just cynical. It's exactly the sort of decision that IFAB are mulling over at the moment.
The sin bin.
If that's what they're going to call it.
Edward Wright back at the back with King for Mac against Nicolau. He just showed too much of it to the right back, but he's won the throw, taken quickly with Joel King. Fuktale, assistant coach David Strilic, watching Standing in their technical area, trying to plot and plan what would be a fantastic result if they could get back into this game. Lolly still going. Another half chance. Caceres now. They come again. Caceres shoots across the face. Agonisingly wide for Sydney FC.
It's great pressure from Sydney. Macarthur are riding their luck. If you take Jonathan Aspro out of this game, I mean, it's been like a magnet for him tonight, the ball to Aspro. There he is again. That's the first time the ball's knocked to danger, and just the angle too tight for Caceres. Clayton Lewis policing Anthony Caceres into the penalty area. Sydney not far away from an equaliser at all.
Isaac Hovar. It has been a pretty intense 74 minutes on debut for the left back.
I think he's done excellently. So too, I mean, just a passing comment, call his name week after week at the moment, but how well has it Yanni Nicolau adapted to A-League football as well on the right-hand side of the Macarthur defence.
Substitutions coming. And with 15 minutes to go, Mile Stojovski is going to make a triple change. So he's playing all his cards now. There you see Aspro Potamides, the clearances. Let's head down to Tristan McManus quickly, because it's going to be all change again here, Tristan.
Yeah, it is. I think Macarthur are starting to feel the pinch from Monday night, all right. And again, the pressure that Sydney keep putting them under. I mean, it's hard to think that they're down to 10 men, but they're giving it. I mean, the message at half-time was clear for everyone to see. Stay aggressive, stay pushing them high. It's exactly what they've done. I thought Robert Mack had them back in the game there, all right. But they look like they know they've got it in them. And I think Macarthur are starting to believe that they do as well.
Absolutely. There'll be no doubting heading into this. Sydney FC, I have to say, hats off. They've been excellent since going a player down when Redmayne was sent off. Now, confirmation of those changes. On comes for just his second appearance of the season, the new Tanzanian international, Charles Mombwa, who scored on his international debut during the last international break. He only played a couple of minutes, 12 of them, against Brisbane on the opening day of the season. We haven't seen him since, but he's got a job to do in the middle of the park here. Danny De Silva is back on, having fully recovered from his injury that kept him sidelined at the start of the season. And the other change is at the back, where Ollie Jones has replaced the Bulls debutant Hovar. And that is all 5 changes for Macarthur made now. And they've got another trip this week, I mentioned earlier, to the Philippines, which is a must-win, and a likely win, if truth be told, against dynamic Herb Cebu, who they defeated 8-2 in the first game. The Mariners are also on the road to the Philippines, and a must-win for them to go through top of the group. And Melbourne City, it's a must-win for them too, against Benfore Kofu, the Japanese second division side, who they need to win, and ideally hope that there are some points dropped in the second match in that group. They're taking on Jay Jung, the Chinese team. Melbourne City, and here the action is still very much alive. Macarthur leading by a goal to nil with 12.5 minutes left in regulation time. Joel King asking more from this side. Bratton, he too has been absolutely immense this evening for Sydney FC, continuing to spray the ball around. Lolly. Jones was holding on. Mack only finds Jones. Now De Silva. Germain back with Bacchus. Jed Drew. Bacchus again. Foul by Joel King, just getting too close. They almost won it back there, Sydney, as well.
Yeah, it's been a huge effort from Sydney. Huge effort. A little bit too much there from Joel King. It's been impressive from Macarthur. Large parts of what they've done, very difficult to beat. Their centre defence again today has been outstanding. Here's a go.
Raphael trying to get away from Lacerda. Germain looking to take over as well, but the ball just ricochets off his shin and behind.
Ruscock and Esprototomidi is outstanding. Germain is getting more impressive as the weeks go on, and the format for Macarthur is looking really robust, and they believe what they're doing. I'm sure Mile Stojowski would rather they had a bit more of the ball, but on that front, you just have to take your hat off to Sydney. The effort they've put in to apply the pressure, keep applying the pressure.
Going to have a couple more changes coming now for Sydney FC. Mitch Glasson is coming on off the bench for the 7th time out of 7 this season. He replaces Robbie Mack and Luke Bratton, who has just run himself into the ground. He's replaced by Courtney Perkins. I don't think he's happy about coming off either, Luke Bratton. He's a real competitor.
Yeah, of course he is. You don't see him making way early. Goodwood Wright goes into midfield. Courtney Perkins goes into the centre of defence.
Mitch Glasson, who claimed his first goal for Sydney FC and was backed up by SydneyFC.com, who also awarded him his first ever A-League goal. For the moment, the A-League's official website being a little more recalcitrant, still giving it to Alexander Shushniar for his final touch that beat his keeper last weekend.
I think on that score, it depends on who Andrew Stato Howe gives the goal to. He's the oracle, isn't he? The final arbiter.
And so it shall forever be. Jamal under pressure from Courtney Perkins, Girdwood, Reich and Glasson. So fresh legs. Mombois does well to control and get rid of the ball under pressure from Lolly. Ollie Jones, he's dispossessed by Fabio, who's worked hard, the Brazilian as well. The big striker, the big number 9 in that wrestling match. He loses out to the youngster. Jones again, back with Mombois. They need to stay positive. They've got to be careful about knocking the ball back too much, getting themselves into trouble needlessly. De Silva with Mombois again. That's a difficult pass into a triangle of blue shirts. Germain with the foul on Courtney Perkins. 8 minutes left. The overlapping run, Grant into the area, low ball in towards Glasson.
But they find Aspro again. It was a good incursion from Ryan Grant. It's getting tired, you could imagine. Perhaps if you've ever put this sort of physical exertion in, those sitting in the comfort of their lounge chairs. But he still had an angle on a better pass there.
And Grant goes again into the area. And he got the little touch, but Jones sent the ball flying behind with that sliding challenge.
It's really lung-bursting stuff, this. I mean, he's just done one of these, Ryan Grant. Oh, it's a near thing too. He keeps asking the questions of the defenders. Defenders finding the answers so far.
Ball back post. Aspropotomides concedes another corner. Pavlicic having a little look. Should I go? In it comes again. Again it's back post. Fabio wins this one in the air over Bacchus, but can't control it and head it goalwards. Into the last 15 minutes, so from 60 minutes to 75, Sydney FC had 80.5% possession. The player down, chasing the game. Quite remarkable. And they will look at the statistics and think we deserved so much more from this contest. For the moment though, Macarthur has to be careful. Ball bounces away from Jed Drew. It's a fine line when you're trying to run down the clock as well. Macarthur wants more options. Sydney FC, in 4 previous attempts, have never won a home match against Macarthur. This incredible statistic looks set to continue again. Macarthur have never won a home match either against Sydney FC, but that will come up later in the season. These two meet again on the penultimate day of the campaign. Will there be revenge put on ice until then? Or will Sydney find something more from this one? Can Macarthur go top of the table provisionally? Two seasons ago, they were top after 5 rounds. They have never been top since.
Raphael couldn't find the killer blow. It was Lacerda making the ground in retreat this time. It's nice interplay. Clever from De Silva, Germain and Raphael. But again, he's got plenty of time to set something up here. It's one of those hopeful ones.
Macarthur have a habit of scoring late goals this season. Are they going to add another one here? Jed Drew across to Germain, clever little touch, and that's it surely. Valère Germain runs to the French supporters in the crowd, and the Frenchman with the flair, the little flick through the legs, and they have another late goal that will settle this one in their favour.
Harvey Norman replay just shows a really definitive play from Jed Drew. De Silva put him through nicely, plenty of space to utilise, and that's how to set up a goal. Jed Drew knew exactly where he wanted that ball, read the run of Germain perfectly, and the touch was exquisite. To finish this one off, the resistance from Macarthur has been unbending all night, and Sydney just not able to break through. As hard as they've tried and as much effort as they've put in, you'd reckon that's going to sink them. 2-0 to Macarthur.
Mile Sturjovski said pre-game perhaps they could have expected more goals from Valère Germain. He has 3 now in the league. He has 7 in 11 in all competitions. Australia Cup in 12 now, actually. In Australia Cup and AFC Cup combined. And for Sydney FC, their record here at Allianz does not improve. Glassen's shot blocked since the new Allianz Stadium was opened. if we chalk this one up as a loss, perhaps prematurely. 17 matches, 6 wins, 3 draws, 8 defeats now. Just won 6 of 17 at home. If they want to change that, it needs to happen now. There will be stoppage time. There is time to pull this one out of the fire. The Paramount Plus player index. Germain's, what looks like being the clincher, sends him top over Holman. Curto has been great as well. So has Luke Bratton. And Joe Lolly's seen a lot of the ball. He's been a constant threat down that side. Curto's holding on to what looks like a second clean sheet for him this season. Not over yet. Lolly still going. Jed Drew looks for Germain. One to chase. Lacera has front position. Courtney Perkins. Good pressure from Raphael, who stopped Sydney playing out. They look long with Grant, though. Potomides gives it straight back. Glasson's in the middle, looking to run off the shoulder. Fabio's touch. Girdwood right, gets it back to the Brazilian. Only just. Joel King's touch for Glasson. Being shadowed by Uzcock. They need the ball in the danger area. Again, it doesn't find Fabio. Courtney Perkins. That's a good ball for King. It's a good run. Look at the time and space he's got. And he can't beat Raphael.
And it's, after making the space, it's a strange option. He's really put some leather on that attempted delivery rather than a little dinker.
King again. Header away by Germain, who's still trying to get his team to keep pressing up, not sit back. That one skews off the boot and behind from Ryan Grant, who has also run himself into the ground. Now cramp in the hamstring foot. That's Potomides. We'll run down a few more seconds. We're in the first minute of 7 additional minutes. So there is still time for Sydney FC just to come back on the home ground hoodoo since this magnificent new stadium has opened. Only once has Sydney recorded back-to-back wins at home in over a season and a half. A season and a quarter now, 7 rounds in. Talk about how important the home fortress is. Foul by Raphael. One number 17 on another with Anthony Caceres. De Silva on Caceres. It's a great turn. It's going to be another free kick and another yellow card for Danny De Silva this time. 5 yellow cards for Macarthur.
How good.
Half a metre.
How good was that?
In the 93rd minute. In it comes now from King. Might that little half metre be the difference? Grant's initial header was not the best. It's then headed away and the break is on again, but Germain won't get there.
Germain will be having words with Jed Drew. That's twice now. He's asked a lot of the Frenchman. He's come up short both times, and Sydney come again. There's still time, believe it or not, for this Sydney team. 16 minutes in, Andrew Redmayne sent off for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Caceres does brilliantly. Lolly against Aspro-Potamides, gets the shot away. It's Uzcock who does the clearing this time. And the break is on again. De Silva with Jed Drew. Germain's at the back post again. Raphael is there. It's going to fall for Germain. Oh, he's missed it. Well, that would have been curtains. The goal was there at his mercy. And he missed the target. And will they regret that? As Glasson comes forward and slips and then fouls Nicolau. Full of running.
That's a great counter. Nice from De Silva to win the strings. Good from Jed Drew. And it's got to be 3-0. For all money, people had packed up the picnic and headed back to Campbelltown.
A wry smile. He just saw it on the big screen. Alain Germain. He can't believe it himself. Still rolls his head back. He scored a very, very difficult, classy goal just a couple of moments earlier, which probably will make the game safe, but he could have done his stats some good there as well. Just before that goal came, I was mentioning the late goal habit this side has. It's a side that fights right to the very end. Germain goes again. Towards Jed Drew. The clearance by Courtney Perkins is not the best. Mombwa now. That's given away. They've now scored 7 of 14 goals this season in the last 15 minutes of matches. 50% of their goals, they leave them late on. They also kept the 6th first half clean sheet in 7 matches this season. So they don't concede early and they score late. For the moment, it's a recipe that's working. As Tommy Uzcock is pinned for the handball. Free kick. If it's going to happen for Sydney FC, it has to happen now. Joe Lolly is lining this one up just to the left of centre. About 27, 28 metres out from goal. Lolly it is, hits it, and Curto saves it. Somehow it made it through the wall.
Good hit. And a slight bobble out of Curto's initial save, but he smothered it. Very, very good goalkeeper.
They bypassed the wall on the near side. Curto has made another string of saves. Sydney have outshot Macarthur by 20 shots to 12. And it's all over. It's not enough. Macarthur, for the first time in their history, are undefeated in 7 matches in a row. They are top of the table, where they will be tomorrow evening if Western Sydney fail to beat Melbourne Victory. What a season Mile Sturjovski's side is having so far in. Ufuk Taleh's team showed plenty of fight, plenty of pluck and courage, but in the end, the sending off in the 16th minute of Andrew Redmayne just proved all too much for the home side. And the home side hoodoo continues in this fixture as well. No home side has ever won in 8 times of asking between Sydney FC and Macarthur. Jake Holman got the ball rolling just before the half hour, before Valère Germain, 3 minutes from time, added a delightful icing on the cake as it finishes at Allianz. Sydney FC 0, Macarthur FC 2. And let's head straight down to Tristan McManus.
Thank you, Robbie. I'm here with Clayton Lewis. Clayton, 7 unbeaten, top of the league. How does it feel?
Yeah, very happy. I think you know, coming to Sydney is tough. This place is a fortress for them, and to come away with the win is a massive boost for us going forward.
How does it feel at the moment? I mean, you're coming here with full confidence. The football you're playing is great. 20 chances to 12 in Sydney had just today. You had to dig deep, but you got the win.
Yeah, look, I think we weren't at our best today. You know, but at the end of the day, we kept the clean sheet, scored a couple goals, so we're pretty happy.
Talk to me a little bit about Aspar at the back there. He was a magnet for the ball all game.
Yeah, he's top notch. I think you know, in pre-season he was definitely someone who surprised me. You know, first time playing with him, so it's a massive plus knowing we've got him at the back, and I think Tommy was a big plus for us as well today.
He said you're great too. Well done today. Congratulations. All right, keep it up. Good on you. Robbie, I'm also here with Adam Pavsic. Adam, congratulations on today. Obviously, it didn't go the way it was. At the start, you expected to get the leader. How'd you feel out there?
Yeah, no, I felt good. You know, I've prepared. I played a lot of NPL games. You know, I had good belief from, you know, my keeper coach, Matt Nash, and the boys I felt. So I just wanted to go out there and do what I do. It was always going to be hard with 10 men, but look, I think we can stay positive. Boys put in a big shift, and we'll look forward to next week.
You guys, you left everything on the field there. I mean, it looked like you were going to get back into the game, and then that killer blow, which is always going to happen on the break. What do you make of the team's performance?
No, I think, like I said, very positive. You know, we pushed from the start to the finish. We, you know, pressed high. We created a lot of chances, even with 10 men. We had them on the ropes at times, and you know, on another day, one of our chances goes in earlier, might change the game, and we get away. We get the 3 points, but it is what it is.
Really big game next weekend. Are you ready?
Of course, always.
Fantastic. Well done tonight. Congratulations.